Now, before the pandemic, the Italian city of Venice was overrun with tourists, so much so that it was looking for ways to restrict their numbers. Now, though, it has the opposite problem. Empty streets and waterways in a city that very much depends on tourism revenue. DW's Max Zander reports on how Venice is looking to strike the right balance as it reopens for business.
A gondola ride is probably the most romantic experience you can have here in Venice, even for veteran gondolier Maurizio Carlotto. When we take someone with us, we try to make them live the dream. He is one of the city's roughly 600 gondoliers. Usually Carlotto would do 3 tours a day, but the pandemic has practically run him out of business. From October to now, I've only done 1 ride. The city just came out of a lockdown, but St. Mark's Square is still eerily quiet. The world-famous Café Florian remains closed during the week.
Over the years, Venice became almost entirely dependent on tourism, and the pandemic, with its travel restrictions and lockdowns, further laid bare the issue. These cafes here, once popular tourist destinations, are now closed due to a lack of customers. But now there seems to be some light at the end of the tunnel, though nobody really knows how exactly and when tourism will restart.
Some have hopes that a new start will bring changes. David Bozaro is an activist with Venezia.com. The group installed this counter in the window of a pharmacy to help publicize the declining number of residents.
50,965 is the actual number of people, citizens, living today here in Venice.
That's 30 people less than a week before. Over-tourism has been driving people out of the city, but the problem is more complicated than that.
You know, it's a very strange situation. We don't want too much tourism because it would suffocate the place. But at the same time, we can't live without tourism.
In a place where everyone lives off tourism one way or another, it is difficult to find a balance. The city's tourism councilor says the situation is not unique to Venice, but rather Venice is in need of a unique solution.
Venice
has not been sold out in a derogatory sense. All tourist cities have experienced the last few years in the absence of rules to protect certain segments of the city. As a first step, the city has begun to closely monitor visitor numbers. Starting next year, tourists will have to pay a fee to enter the city. But Maurizio Carlotto misses what some people consider the bad old days. I would also go back to what it was like 2 years ago, with a few less people maybe. But it wasn't a massacre like they were saying. It was sustainable. The debate over the future of tourism in Venice is far from over, but for now, most people here cannot wait for visitors to return.